The time is 7 p.m. on April 29th, 2016. This is live in Toledo on WAKT 1061. I'm Patrick Drummond. Derek Hansen is not available today. In theater events, we have at the Village Players on Upton Avenue a production of Tomfoolery, directed by Bill Quinlan. It's a musical review based on the lyrics and the music of Tom Lehrer, who was a songwriter, a mathematician, and a satirist. He's mostly popular between 1950 and 1960. He's kind of like your grandpa's Weird Al in a lot of ways. We have an interview with Bill Quinlan later in the program, but they run from May 6th to May 21st, and you can find more information at thevillageplayers.org or call 419-472-6817. Next, that same weekend, and for one weekend only, we have The Monologues 2 Off to School at the Toledo Rep on Washington and 10th. That's directed by Barbara Barkin and is actually a sequel play to The Monologues, which was about stories about having young children and becoming a mother and the kinds of changes that you have to go through. This is a sequel about your kids growing up and going up to school and becoming their own adults. It runs for one weekend, May 6th to May 8th, and you can find more information at toledorep.org or call 419-243-9277. Black Swamp just closed Getting Sarah Married, directed by Willard Misfelt, but they are also done for the season. 3B, however, has coming up Legally Blonde the Musical. That will be performed at the Maumee Indoor May 26th to May 29th. If you're not familiar with the musical, it's based on the movie. It's the story of Elle Woods, a sorority girl who enrolls at Harvard Law School to win back her ex-boyfriend Warner. She discovers how her knowledge of the law can help others and successfully defends exercise queen Brooke Wyndham in a murder trial. You can find out more information about that at 3bproductions.org or call 419-309-4072. Also, Children's Theater Workshop over at the Collingwood Arts Center is putting on a production of Fame Junior, June 24th to 26th. The story of several students who attend the High School of Performing Arts through audition to graduation. Probably cuts a lot of the larger issues that are dealt with in the musical itself. Probably not going to have a lot of 10-year-olds having abortions anyway. Recently, the Village Players just closed the Lions as part of their Village After Dark program. It was directed by Evan James Copeland, and the story is about Ben Lyons. He's the patriarch of the family, and he's dying. Rita is his wife of 40 years, and her biggest concern is how she's going to redecorate the house. Their heavily damaged children, Lisa and Curtis, have finally come around to say goodbye after not having contact for quite a while. Instead of things patching up and going smoothly with their heartfelt tears and hugs that you might expect, things just continue to be horrible. You had Kate Argo playing the mother Rita and John Jennings as Ben. The village president, Jake Gordy, plays Brian, who is a realtor, and newcomer Leanna Golightly as the nurse. Especially well performed was Amy Reed and Derek Hansen as the children Lisa and Curtis. Anyways, and now we have an interview with Derek Hansen interviewing Bill Quinlan about Tomfoolery.
For the conclusion of the 59th season, the Village Players are putting out a production of Tomfoolery, based on the music and lyrics of the famous American satirist Tom Lehrer. I had a chance to sit down with the director Bill Quinlan to talk about how he came to do theater in Toledo, his background, and also his vision for the show. Tell me a little bit about the program, about the show.
About Tomfoolery?
Yeah.
Tomfoolery is the music of the brilliant 1950s, 60s satirist, pianist, mathematician, professor Tom Lehrer. and it's really a lot of fun. All the music is very upbeat, fun, a lot of satire, which was pertinent at the time in the 60s and early 70s, but it's really surprising to us. We find how pertinent it is to us now, and you can still relate to it.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I found really interesting because, I'm looking at the song list on here, and I'm looking at, kind of did the research on it, and all the music is from the 50s and 60s. And really, he got to start, I think it was like 54 or something like that. So he's been around for a long time.
Yes.
And the fact that it's still pertinent to today's political climate is very interesting, which either I think we're all doomed that history repeats itself when it comes to politics, but are there any particular songs within the show that you think really relates to today that you're like, oh man, that's like that could be something that I could see on the Daily Show or something like that?
There is a song which was actually a big hit for him. I remember I had the single back in the late 1960s called Pollution, and I cannot hear that song even now without thinking of what's been happening in Flint, because there are direct references to water pollution and air pollution, of course, and just everything, the sludge in the water, and I think of Flint, and I don't think anybody's going to hear that and not hear Flint in it. What's going on, honestly.
And actually some bawdiness in there, too.
Yeah,
a lot of
certainly
bawdiness.
There is. It's been a fun show to direct because it's not just wholesome, clean stuff, and there's a lot of satire, a lot of songs which are not a lot, but a few songs which are definitely more adult oriented. I would say there's not language issues. It's not that. Right. But just the references, and he's a very smart man, a very brilliant satirist, and he was able to use words like very few lyricists can. But that's a lot of the fun of directing him too.
I won't get into particulars of it, nor will I do the lyrics, but I got it from Agnes. Is something that everyone should research, and that was written in 1954. I think is when he started writing it. There is, according to Wikipedia, which I get all my sources, Isaac Asimov said that he actually saw Tom Lehrer play it in a nightclub in 1954.
Okay,
and when you guys look up the lyrics for this, you'll be amazed that could be played in a nightclub in 1954.
Well, it's very funny and it's very subtle. It doesn't really say what the singer got from Agnes or any of the other names that are mentioned. You can imply it, you can assume it, but it leaves a little bit to the imagination, which is fun.
So tell me a little bit about your background in acting. You come from San Francisco, is that right?
Yeah, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I grew up in San Francisco. I went to college down at Santa Clara University, had a theater arts degree down there. I had a great education, worked with some brilliant people, a lot of fun people, and stayed there for a while. And then I moved to New York, spent about 10 years in New York doing theater off Broadway, and I got as far as off Broadway. So I was in a really terrible show, a very awful musical about Princess Diana, which was only a few years after her death. It was just a terrible show. But then I moved to Toledo after 9/11, and with my then wife and my 2 kids, now 3 kids. And it's been a real pleasure and a real joy to be here. There's been a lot of fun things. I've met a lot of wonderful people and had a great time. So.
Yeah, and I've seen you in several productions. I've been involved with you with several productions, and I think you're a great actor. And I think, I think directing is really, you're really strong on your directing.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your kind of directorial style, what you try to bring to the production?
Yeah, what I try to be, I try to be a good collaborator. One of the most important things you can do for any show, and you know this as a director yourself, is the casting. And I like to think that I cast well, and the people I cast are generally a lot of fun to work with, and we have great experience. And I try to be. I really want to be known as an actor's director, someone who, as an actor, gives the right notes, goes in the right direction for the purposes of the show, and I I like to think that I bring out the best in the actors that I work with because they want to give their best, because it's a fun experience. I try to create a really fun climate. Mm-hmm. I've been in productions where the climate has not always been fun, and I know what that's like. And it's much more fun if everyone is having fun.
Yeah, and if you're doing community theater and you're giving up a lot of time, a lot of extra time, and 6 weeks of rehearsal, not longer, and then you have 3 weeks of the actual show. So if you're not having fun, it can be arduous.
Yeah, it can be, and that's why it has to be fun. And I try to bring that sense of fun, and I think I've grown a lot as I've gotten older. I mean, I'm 57 now, and I've been directing a long time, and I know that I've grown as a director, and I think I've actually calmed down a little bit. You get real excited about things, and when you're younger, and you kind of push your way through. But it's not really about that. It's really about creating a team atmosphere. In theater, there's no such thing as a one-man show, even if some people are, attempting one-person shows. There's always lighting designers and lighting people and sound, and there's always a team involved. And that's what it has to be, and I really try to bring that about when I direct.
Can you tell me a little bit about the staging of the show, how you decided to have the actors on stage? In the past, with Tomfoolery, they've all been on stage. Sometimes they'll even use their real names, and then they'll come up individually to sing the songs. How did you decide to stage this particular production?
Well, the beauty about Tomfoolery, and it's kind of in a note at the beginning of the script, there is no definitive version of this show. Mm-hmm. I guess the closest one they have is from London. And even in the notes at the beginning of the script say, there's no version. You can kind of do what you want to with it. If you feel like you want to trade a song here and there for mm-hmm. something else, they have recommendations. If they feel that, or if you feel that you want to kind of rearrange things, which is one of the things I did with this show. I took every song individually, and some I have divided up where they weren't divided up before for the actors. A couple of them I turned into solos, which were not solos before. So I'm really trying to create a new experience with this production. This is going to be a production that's never been performed before anywhere, and I'm really excited about that.
That sounds really great. Thank you very much for your time, Bill. It was a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks. This is Derek Hansen for WAKT Toledo.
So again, for more information on Tomfoolery, directed by Bill Quinlan, you can go to thevillageplayers.org or call 419-472-6817. They open May 6th and run until the 21st. In live music events, we have, for this Friday, Quick Quartet is playing at Dégagé Jazz Cafe. Kelly Dwyer is playing at the Ottawa Tavern, and the Appleseed Collective is playing at the Village Idiot in Maumee. Boffo is playing at the Beer Stube. Toast and Jam at the Blarney Irish Pub. Blarney Irish Pub. This is why it's pre-recorded. And not a local band, but the Hepcat Revival is playing Ye Olde Dirty Bird. Toledo favorite Arctic Clam is playing Bar 145. And Shell is playing at Culture Clash Records, which I was not aware played live music in the first place. Flaw, Devils of America, is playing at Frankie's. And the Joe Woods Band at Table 44. I read that like his one band name. It's two. Screams and Whispers are playing at Swig, and the Bridges are playing at Ye Olde Cock and Bull. On Saturday, we have Social Repose at Frankie's, as well as Jay Davies, The Mary Jane Effect, White, John South, Koga, Dephonics, Joma, and CB The Truth. River Kings are playing at the Blarney, Ramona Collins at Ye Olde Dirty Bird, Steve and Tim Show at Table 44, Maddie Binkley at Doc Holidays, Two for the Show at Swig, The Bridges at Ye Olde Cock and Bull, and Ghost City Searchlight at the Village Idiot. And now we have local music, which you will have to imagine because I didn't bring an MP3. And so we'll just pause for effect. It looks like I can't see how long this recording has gone yet, and I forgot to set the timer on my phone. So this has been live in Toledo. Live in Toledo has been pre-recorded because it's funnier that way.